And we're live. So, in case you're somewhere on Twitter, Twitter for us is down, which includes half our articles, annoyingly. Give it a refresh.
So we are live. So
we
I've
are
heard.
live. We're live on YouTube, but presumably not live on Twitter. Just getting an X now. Presumably not live.
I'm going to try. What's it called? A VPN. Let's see where Elon is. Is it live?
Yeah, check in San Francisco, wherever he is, see if it's live there. So you use a VPN, do you?
Maybe that was not the smartest choice.
Why?
I used the VPN and I was gone for a second.
Oh, I see. Now you're back.
Wait, it seems like my X is working.
Can you turn down the volume of your headphones? Because I can totally hear myself.
My headphones? That's my mic probably being very sensitive.
I've thought about getting a new mic.
Okay, so turning down the volume.
We've got 3 people.
Hello, I can still hear myself. How's everybody doing?
Are you people yourself? Just do us a favor, 3 people. Are you on Twitter? Because I can just see 1 person on YouTube. So there must be 2 of you on Twitter. Let us know where you are. We can't check where you are because actually if you let us know on Twitter, we can't see you. We can't see if you respond. So I guess if you're on YouTube, drop a comment on YouTube. Oh, Twitter's coming back. Twitter's back. Okay. I think the podcast kicked it into gear. I think it's not a podcast, is it? But you know what I mean? I think we were the ones that brought Twitter back. Okay, let me refresh all my pages, which yes. We're in business. Just preparing all my pages.
I'm also preparing here, putting myself in the center of the camera so you have an easier time editing, as you said. Oopsie.
Oh, yes. Please. Thank you.
Am I changing color? Yeah, because of the touching the HDMI cable.
Right, we're starting to see people pour in now.
Hello, everybody.
Cheers for the like on YouTube. Drop us a love. Drop us a chat if you're hyped. Have you used that new hype button on YouTube at all yet?
No.
I'm too scared to press it. I don't know. I just see it on some videos that there's a hype button. Too scared to press it in case it draws attention to my lurking.
I don't know. Maybe I haven't seen it. I mean, I live in Europe, and
no, you don't get a lot in Europe, do you? Because you're scared of everything. I'm in Britain, so we're not much better.
Well, we have, those caps that you can't remove from bottles.
Oh yes. Did you want to tell us about your site? Not site of the week, but your. Hang on, are you doing site of the week, or are you doing Preamble with your website?
But we could both do both. So let's go. Let's see how the time allows. So I actually have a few things to show. Like one thing that when Twitter loaded, I noticed that I could include this. So let's just start with that. Okay.
You're going to start. I'm going to go get myself a beer.
Okay.
Go solo. Fly solo, butterfly. Fly solo.
Okay. So, to everybody who's watching, have you seen this? You probably have. Are we cooked? Well, so some people, let's say some people in a specific industry are probably cooked. you know what I'm probably talking about. People who might need to get a job. Well, that's quite funny because that includes us as well. But I'm not talking about us software engineers and designers. Yeah, what I'm talking about is, yeah, this is like insane. What I don't know if this is real time or a recording, probably not real time, but probably it will be real time if it's not. And then imagine you have a call with somebody, like, who can you trust? No images, no videos, and now this is what I've been showing our audience. We are cooked. Well, I said not we, because we don't need a job, new job, because AI is not taking our job, right?
What are you chatting about?
AI taking some people's jobs.
Oh God, you're still beating that drum?
No, this specific one. Have you seen this video?
No.
It's so impressive.
Oh, I think I've seen something similar with like cartoon characters or something.
But I mean, this is like realistic, like really realistic. Look at the hair.
That's real time, is it? Or is it?
That's what I asked. I don't know. But if it's not, it will be soon. Like, this is insane.
Maybe I can show you something that was disgusting today. I don't know whether it's 3D actually. It could be 3D. There's nothing to suggest it's AI, but it looks very good.
So Levis said the era of fake eager influencers has started.
I mean, it started. I was listening to a podcast earlier where they were talking about some movie stars that are being released. I think the influencer stuff started probably pretty in the summer, right? I started to see a bunch of influencers coming in around then.
Yeah. Is this real latency or pre-recorded? 8 min for 30 seconds.
So is this recent then? Because of course, Levels.io released this is like one of the first ones. Is this like a new thing? Oh yeah, there he is in the bottom right.
This is like.
So he's made it into a video thing. There he is. He looks fit as a girl.
I'll send him this clip.
It's crazy, yeah. It's crazy how he's kept his shirt and everything, like, and he's kept his breasts.
Well, I think the way it works, you can create a character that you want, and then you take a video of yourself and you say,
make this
basically make me to it.
So I don't know if this is because I want to try it.
It seems like, I don't know. He said made with mocap, motion capture on my app. You know, I have Higgs field. No, I mean, I have Higgs fields, and I'm pretty sure I should be able to find a model that does this. Maybe I'll try that.
Shout out to Higgs field who wanted to sponsor me for $30 for a dedicated video.
No way.
Yeah, joke.
Oh man, that is
shameful actually on their part.
Yeah. So photo AI. That's anyway.
So this is an old website, but he's added a video feature to it. Anyway, cool, nice.
Yeah. So
I thought you were showing a website anyway.
Yeah, I was waiting for you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and this is just warming up our audience with fake e-girls.
Oh, okay, great.
Okay, so this video this week went quite viral with almost like 30 million views. It's about words per minute. How many words per minute can you read? And this is, obviously a video. And I saw this and I was like, what if I make this to be like an app? So I prompted and this is what I have. So if I reload, you see here we have a text box, word per minute, whatever, the anchor letter, and I can just start. And then I have a 1 second pause at the end of each sentence. and yeah, I think it turned out pretty cool.
Yeah. So what, you can set the words per minute and just build it up on how
Yeah,
fast you can read.
so yeah, I don't have, I guess that is something to add, like stages, but right now it is just like a slider, so I can start, and let's see if it actually real time adapts. Yes, it does. I just added a prompt saying, can you make this update the animation engine real time? And
What's the importance of the red letter?
it was honestly, it was in the design and I just took it, but I believe it is important to have the words in a specific anchor point. And here I see that for some it is the third, for some it is the second. I'm not sure what is like the formula. Is it like, it looks like it's the first 40% of the letter. Maybe because I know that we don't read the entire words, we just see it kind of like as a shape.
Maybe that's
see the
why
start
they've done
and the
it
end
like
of it.
this, so you actually read the word or something like that.
No, we never do. We never read the word. That's why it's also really difficult to notice mistakes in a word, or maybe sometimes you do, but you can still read it because we don't read the letters one by one. We see the start and the end of each word, and that's how we read it, and that's why we can do like crazy.
I suck at this. Like I think it's maybe a dyslexia thing, but my brain trips over itself. So maybe actually, no, my brain reads it, but I can't say it or something like that. I really struggle with like fast speaking or.
Okay, interesting. So with this, I could turn it into an app to train. I could add stages, like, okay, start.
I mean, it'll take you 2 seconds. What was your initial prompt?
My initial prompt. Let's
reveal all.
Oh, reveal. Create a GSAP project. It is literally as simple. I'm just adding an image, and separate the words.
Oh,
okay. I'm sorry. I see there is. Okay, how can I mute my iPad from here?
Professionalism here, boys and girls. Professionalism.
I have work on, but it somehow doesn't mute it. Okay, I need to mute my iPad. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's your iPad, is it? Is Janne in the audience? I just want to say thank you for my gift. I received it the other day of a bunch of stickers.
All right. So
yeah, for appearing on the podcast.
Yeah, you're exposing me with asking me to show my prompt. Anyway, so I asked it to. I did it with a conversation, just like with voice mode, and I was doing something else. Anyway, this is like simple prompt, and it didn't work everything at the first prompt.
Well, what was it? You need to read it out, buddy.
Read the whole prompt.
The first prompt, yeah. What did you say?
Okay, create a GSAP project. It is literally a simple input field that takes a long text, and then the GSAP part is where we separate the words and then we display them all. Okay, that is embarrassing. One after another. This is for and okay, because I was talking while doing something else. Anyway,
sure.
And then we can do this read per minute kind of project. So I don't know. I'm saying some nonsense here. So word per minute, a control and scrub timeline. I'm basically saying that we need those. So we can move forward and backward. Well, it didn't do that at all. And then it actually has the in the chat, by the way. All of these controls.
What voice thing did you use to record?
Just the one from Cursor. I was actually.
Oh, Cursor.
Yeah.
How has Cursor got anything to do with this?
Just the mic, the voice input.
Cursor.
What Cursor, do you see here on my
coding
screen?
Application. This is Cursor, is it? Oh, I thought this was Webflow.
No. This is not Webflow. But we'll get to that. Anyway, the prompt is really bad, as you see.
Because I was going to say, you should, not that you this could have been a quick thing, but like running your prompt into an AI to help refine the prompt.
I do this. Maybe I can quickly talk about this, and yeah, we'll do that. So anyway, so we had the prompt, and I was quite frustrated because typically when I do something like this, I build the HTML CSS in Webflow. That way I have like more control and I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Here, I didn't do it. I would just want to quickly see if it's possible. And then I got really frustrated because I wanted to change some structure in the HTML and CSS, and I wasn't comfortable. I'm not comfortable doing it like literally in the code. And I was then prompting CSS HTML changes, which I don't like because I feel like I'm faster if I know what to do, you know, if I do it myself. Anyway, so that worked pretty well, I would say. After, let's say it's like 40 minutes of work put into it.
Yeah, looks good.
And what I do, I make typically separate chats. Here, I didn't need it, but like typically I make separate chats for if I do concurrent stuff. But here, I don't have a crazy. I have a JavaScript, CSS, and HTML file, very simple and vanilla. I don't know if I needed GSAP for this, but it was kind of in my mind. Yeah.
No, you could do it with it's just CSS hiding and showing and a
probably
and a loop.
Yeah, exactly. So, and the thing is, this one is actually like completely vibe coded because I have not checked the code at all. So we have like 3 lines of code.
Well, we'll get into that, I think, but I think we're beyond the point of checking every line of code. I think vibe coding is now, it's kind of how we're all coding. We'll get into it.
Exactly. This is very interesting because when I was doing that, I'm not like where I would judge this JavaScript and say if this is good or bad, but I could see like when the CSS at the beginning, it was not what I wanted. I was really frustrated and I was like thinking, okay, how can I tell this AI? How can I describe it? Or should I just get my hand in it and do it myself? But I guess this is the way we write, we create software nowadays.
Indeed
now,
it is.
Before we go to the next one, about the thing you said with my initial prompt, how can we have a better prompt? So what I did, I have an idea for an app, and let me know if you, I don't know, maybe we can do something about it. So I have an idea for an app. I thought I will talk to ChatGPT to create an MD file. So that is to plan everything ahead. So I described the app idea. It's merely for fun, doing it for fun and learning. And I want to create a full plan, but like before getting programming, just have the specific needs of the app written down in an MD file and then start programming it. And that is, the app is simply like an order to order cocktails at my place. So when my friends come over, they can scan a QR code, the app opens on their phone, and they can see what I have available to what drinks to make for them, and they can order. They have like, I have to have inventory management, I have to have CMS authentication, commenting, and things like this. A bunch of things like basically like what a bar would have, probably much more modern than what bars have.
Probably better, actually works, you know.
Yeah, and I have a good list of specifications. So after talking to ChatGPT, and all is now clear. So I was thinking if I should do it live, like start live and basically starting vibe coding it.
Okay, sounds fun. Should we do that together?
That's kind of like, that is my question.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
That would be really fun, yeah.
And
we could show people how to think about it, because I'm very early in this. You are a senior software developer. You can help me.
I'm a senior AI engineer. I've been doing AI engineering for 6 years. I've got 6 years under my belt.
Yes. So
To be
let's
fair, in some ways, I do have kind of 6 years under my belt, which I don't. But like, I was playing around with AI back in 2021, 22, something like this, when ChatGPT first came out. But yeah, the
yeah.
AI side of things, definitely been doing it for a
No, you
year
have
now.
like started very early on adopting it. And
Mm.
for people, like people don't know. So let me say, like, we had this project that we don't know if it's still like happening or not. You created a prototype for the lead, for the client, and it
Mm-hmm.
was really impressive. Like, guys, I'm telling you, like, I saw the prototype he made within a week, and it was really it was working. It was like not a
Yeah,
prototype, it was
still
an
works.
MVP. It was an MVP. I went through, and it was clean. Like the UI was clean. That the UX was like thought out. The functionality, there was backend, there was authenticate, there was everything. And this is like a few months ago. In the past few months, like, things also changed again. So yeah, I would be interested in creating this with you. I would be like, maybe I bring the MD file and say, hey, this is the idea. Say it in for the audience, and then we see how long it takes us to create it.
Yeah, yeah. I think you'll be surprised. What do you want to use? Cursor, Claude Code, some CLI, some online tool?
I'm thinking, like, what would bring, uh, what would help people kind of like making a tutorial out of
Mm.
it?
Well, the
How?
thing is, and after what you've just said and showed us and all this sort of stuff, um, if you care tremendously about design, right? The vibe code thing, the AI assisted code thing is not really your avenue, right? Designers don't really belong in this kind of world, right? You should be willing to prioritize the product and the
Mm-hmm.
product slash prototype slash tooling more than the interface itself, right? I think that's where the crossover between designer and dev really falls apart, like in Webflow, right?
Yeah,
Webflow is really, if you care about design and you want to build a website, you really need to stick to something like Webflow.
like for
What
the
it,
granular control.
for the granular control, if you really care about design, if you really care about design, I'm trying to figure out a way to really phrase this where it's like, you know, I don't want to alienate anyone, but I also don't want, I want people to choose their tool, um, uh, just have an understanding of what they're getting themselves in for. If designer wants to jump into vibe coding and start building things with AI, you need to relinquish your ability to drag and drop design, and you need to then understand and learn how to create design with code. Not even me, not even a developer is going to AI, someone who knows how to do development. I'm not going to do design through AI assisted coding. I'm going to accept what AI gives me or give it some rough guidelines, but that fine control, I'm dipping into the code for that, just because there's
Yeah,
just no way. There's just no way at the moment that you're ever going to get what's in your mind on the thing unless you work on a really good, which is just a waste of tokens. Let's be honest.
yeah,
Why am I
yeah,
saying make the border radius of this specific element 10, one? I might as well just do it by code. Anyway,
yeah. That's my point. So we do something that is something that can start from zero. That's what I need. So people
yeah,
can watch it and be like, okay,
yeah,
I have a vibe, I have a code, I have a idea, I want to vibe code
yeah,
it.
yeah. Let's do it.
Um,
Let's do it.
yeah,
Let's do something next week. Anyway, let's
yeah,
crack on with the
cool.
show because that sounds really
Yeah,
fun. I'd really enjoy that. And I'm trying to do a complimentary video to a Claude Code course that I'm doing, which is going to be a really laid back, like coding session of me just building something, right? This may end up being something like that. I suppose I don't want you to get into Claude Code and all the rest of it. But anyway, I'd like to, this may be a precursor to doing that. Just laid back, chilled out. This is what I'm doing. This is how I'm using the tool and, see it
yeah,
in
that would
action.
be cool. Yeah, that would be cool because as you saw, I haven't gotten much further than just using cursor simply.
Because I remember getting a comment once, and it was about the tool search tool, which we're going to talk about today, actually. And some guy had a little rant, and understandably, I was like, makes perfect sense. I know exactly what you're talking about. Where I'm talking about this search tool, but it was abstracted from, how to actually use it. What, not necessarily how to actually use it, because I literally give a code demo, but it was still very abstracted. And he complained about the video, and he complained about documentation in general. And I explained to him, the thing is about documentation, it doesn't know where you're going to use this. It doesn't know how you're going to use it. So it can only show you an isolated part on how to write it in Python or how to write it in TypeScript. Your knowledge needs to, you're almost diving in the deep end. If you're sitting in the middle of some documentation and you just can't fathom what it is, which is, by the way, totally normal. I get like that sometimes, right? I'm in the middle of documentation, I'm just like, where do I start? But because I've got more of a background, I can start to pick it apart, and it starts to become more clear to me. And in fact, that's the exact example I gave in my response to this person. I said, 30 minutes ago, I didn't have a clue about this, but I was able to pick through it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He could be someone who doesn't have the foundations to really take an abstract concept and apply it to something larger. And there's nothing wrong with that. It just means that he needs a bit more learning and a bit more growth. And I think by doing something like we plan to, we can start to establish some foundations and some growth as building blocks for someone to start diving into the deep end and not feeling like they're drowning. They're just like, this is tricky. I don't fully understand it, but I can pick my way through it and understand individual concepts and piece together what this abstract means. I didn't realize you were live. Been watching. Nice one. What was your name? Sorry, Tom Quen. You got an AI name. You got a Quen Coder. Yeah, you should be Quen Coder if that's your real second name.
Yeah. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for being here live.
Yeah, we're totally live. Twitter was down for a bit, so we've had to, pause for a bit, but we're live normally at this time every single week.
Cool. So
anyway,
speaking of live, let's go through the intro.
Mm-hmm.
So this week, Apple accepted defeat in the AI war. A bit dramatic, but it's kind of true.
Defeat.
We will talk about a paradigm shift based off Ralph Wiggum, which is quite funny. What happens if you let AI code for a whole week uninterrupted? What can it create? We'll show you that. And some Anthropic drama. All of this in today's episode. This is Cmd AI. I'm Kabarza.
And I'm Sam, and this is a week in AI design and dev. I would say we need to change that to all of this and more, because there's more we're going through, baby.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes I say it. I just say it, but
more. Need to add it to the template.
Exactly.
Guys, nice, Tom. I remember you, Tom. Yeah. I didn't know your second name was Quen. Was that real, or is that just something you've added? Anyway.
Oh, cool.
Are we jumping in? Yeah, you remember Tom. This is so funny because Tom was at the table when we came up with this idea for this podcast, but we were talking about it. Tom, do you remember us talking about when we were in the food place and we were just chilling out, just chatting about doing a podcast or something? Let us know if you remember that, because you were there when this started to sort of take shape.
This is cool.
At Webflow Conf 2023 or 2024, something like that. 2024, surely. Anyway, are we cracking on with Ralph?
So yes. By the way, Tom is saying, remember it well.
Yeah,
one of my highlights.
There you go. This is the fruits of your collaborative labor here, right in front of you, live.
Super cool. Yeah, let's go with Ralph Wiggum. I can't actually wait to learn more about this, because I was trying to not ask too many questions before we officially start, because I do have some questions. So I want to understand how that works.
Okay, cool. Let me just get something ready. Right, I might butcher this, but we're going to go for it. So we're stepping into a new era of software development where the latest models are no longer relevant. And how we get ahead is the way we orchestrate AI And it all begins with the unlikely Ralph Wiggum, the famously clueless character from The Simpsons. Here's what that means and how it actually works. So it all starts with Jeffrey Huntley here in this very, very trippy, very strange video where which by the way, neither of us is going to do this concept any justice right now. We're going to do our best, but if you want to dig into it, you really need to go in and watch the source, or at least learn about it from the source. You might feel a bit woozy afterwards because it's just a trip fest. But
what was that
either
on
way,
the screen with all of the MD files? That's where it starts, right?
So I'm not. We won't just get into that. Well, yes, in a way, that's this is him planning out his thing using Claude Code. I don't think he's actually using Ralph at this point because it's within Claude Code. What is Ralph? So Ralph is a new coding technique that exceeds, like, it's less about, as I said in the intro, it's less about the models, it's less about the tools. It really abstracts from that, and it is kind of named as such because it's an infinite loop, and it just will run tasks infinitely unless you provide it some iteration kind of maximum thing. Otherwise it could run forever, you never know. But it's an infinite loop until it gets the job done. Now there are ways you can do this, and we're going to go over what Vercel did. Was it Vercel? What they did recently with a long running thing. It's less about that. What it solves the problem.
That's Cursor. Yes.
Cursor, not Vercel. I see black and white, and I just think it must be one of those.
ChatGPT.
Yeah. It solves the problem of, like, context. So the problem is that when you're in Claude Code and you're building your feature, it builds up its to-dos. You know, you might use Taskmaster, MCP, or whatever, but it's building up that context. With every message, you're adding the previous messages to the bloat of that context. What Ralph does, it sits outside and around Claude Code and actually gives Claude Code the prompt with a fresh context. Everything is brand new, and then it writes the results of that into an external file to keep track of what's been done. And so with every single prompt, it's brand new because AIs will just get dumber the more and more context you add to it. Now I wanted to show you the actual code that makes up, I think he shows it maybe at the beginning. It's very simple bit of code, and maybe we can just run through it. Maybe I just have to Google it a second. I don't think he talks about it for long. What I'm going to do is going to get it on a different Ralph Wiggum loop code. Let's just get this up. No, not that.
While you do this, I'm trying to also pull something, and
so this is some code. Let's make this a bit bigger.
Okay.
So let's pull out some highlights here. So here's the PRD. So you create your PRD. What is the overall task at hand? What are we trying to achieve? It looks like he's got a progress script here, archives, and some various things like that. So he's checking for some things. You can see this is Python, probably, bash script. And I think he's doing some checks here, dates, checking folders. I want to get to the juicy bit. Oh, here we go. Here it is. So here's a for loop here. Everything before that is just checking for files, whether they exist and things like that. So you don't have to worry about that too much. This bit of code will run infinitely, or at least in the max iterations, and it will take the prompt and run it basically. This is the completion thing, and it will just run this prompt into the AI and take the output and put it back into the external file. And once it's done, it will call this kind of thing, Ralph completed all the tasks. So I mean, you had a couple of questions, right?
Yeah, I was like thinking how I can implement this.
Yeah. So
And
this is just a file that you double click on your computer. You'll probably have to change. Let me see here. The output, you probably have to. So I think AMP is probably the tool he's using. So I would probably change that with Claude. I would probably add Claude here, not I don't know what AMP is, to be honest. And you run this on your Mac will run this code. And the script or the prompt will be just stored in an MD file, in a separate file. And what they've done, they've piped that into. So cat gives you the output of this file. You pipe that into this AMP tool or whatever. I don't know what T is, but I think that might be just returning the response. So you're getting the response from the prompt.
Yeah.
And then you're putting that into an MD file and then pumping it back into a fresh, brand new prompt for that AI.
Every single time.
And the beauty of this as well, and we'll get into this in a bit, the idea of running like multiple agents in parallel is kind of solved with this, because the problem is if you've got one agent running one task, another agent running one task, let's say this agent over here touches a file that this agent over here is running. How do you orchestrate that? How do you know about those? How do they know about each other? Thing is, you're giving Ralph autonomy here to decide what the next task should be, what the next appropriate task should be. So it orchestrates itself, outputs that to an MD file, and then the next agent will take that and then run with it and keep doing that. And it will do things one after the other based on a fresh context, a fresh perspective, and all that sort of lot. So there'll never be crossover. And you, in theory, could just run this infinitely until the job is done. And you could tell it to write tasks. You could tell it to, you could tell it to write tests and things like that. So there are ways you can get it to like test its work until it's done. Now, the max iterations thing is literally just so you don't end up spending a bunch of money if you don't have to. But I think it's worth trying this out with a small task, whether it's something like, I don't know, change the header or whatever, add a link to this header, or maybe we try it with your tool that you're the site that you're building and stuff, right? No task is big or too small for this. Maybe if you know exactly what you want to do and you could get it done in like a quick little bit of context, then whatever. But if it's a challenging bit of code or a challenging feature or something like that, get Ralph on it so it doesn't get lost, because that's the problem. You get in a bit of a loop. There are some agents that get out there in a bit of a loop. And a word on the model, and the reason why I say models matter less, is that people are having great luck using traditionally not so great models on this, because the context is fresh. And it just redefines how we use AI. Like Google will give you the million context window, but truthfully, that doesn't really solve any problems, because the more you add to a context, the dumber your AI gets. Whereas this has just got fresh context, bit of prompts, a bit of output from the previous agent that's run along with it, and it's given to you. You mentioned that you're already kind of doing something like this.
Yeah, this is interesting, because the moment you mentioned it, I was like, so what I do is in Cursor, I have multiple, and I might be dumb for doing it this way. I haven't watched any tutorials on it. So the way I do it, I have multiple chats. So let's say one chat is specific to either a file or something in the same context. So let's say in one chat, I change the styles, and in another chat, I add animations, and in another chat, I have like the core, like often let's say animation engine. So I create like a GSAP complex function, and I have one chat specific to that one, and then another one kind of like taps into whatever we are creating in that file to do like other things. And that's how I manage my chats and context, because I notice, like, if I'm like 1 second building like the whole thing, and then I'm asking about a style change, and then I'm asking about pushing it to Git or something, or then I'm having a question to learn something, it mixes them. And sometimes I try to do something and it does one of the previous things because it's mixing them. That's why I decided to separate them. And by the way, I do typically open a chat about learning, like things that I want to learn. So it's just the chat mode, no agent mode. Now, I take all of those and also mix it with an MD file, just a file where sometimes I ask the model to say, like, based on the mistakes you did, this is what I say, based on the mistakes that you did, and based on like my preferences, or like the things we've been through, based on the battle we've been through, create a file and add all your learnings so I can give it to another AI model. And it typically does it in a way that another AI model can benefit from it, which is also sometimes fun to read, because it tries to not hallucinate, it tries to not sound like AI if it has copywriting in it and things like this. So that's how I do it. So the MD file for me is kind of like memory. It's
exactly,
well, the chat is memory, but the chat is messy and big, and it has like a bunch of stuff, and it has issues, like it has the mistakes that it did. But that file is kind of like the best memory, like the best learnings and the best things that it did, and like the not to do's. I guess I could add these also on the cursor level or like on the project level, but I come up with these as I go. It's not something that I have prior to the project.
So like the external memory is really crucial to this, right? And all you're doing is putting a little bit of structure to say, you're almost saying like advise the next agent. You mentioned that you're already doing that, right? You advise the next agent. How do you give clarity to the next agent that's going to run this, right? So we had a question here. Now I've shared this link in the chat to this repo, just to say that this guy, what's his bloody name? I don't know why he's called himself. Oh no, Snark Tank. Here we go. Ryan Carson. That's the one. So he's got a great way of taking. He's got a great ability to take concepts and build a simpler version of them. So Taskmaster was the big one, like a few months ago. He built his own little simpler version of Taskmaster. It's a bit easier to understand, and he abstracted it in a similar way. Ralphie's done the same thing. So this isn't, and we'll get into why this is important, by the way, because Ralph actually is not important right now. This is not why this is making news. But anyway, all that to be said, this is one implementation of it, and Ryan tends to do a very good job at simplifying an otherwise complex subject, even though it's not too complex. And George asks, how would he run this on Windows? Now, I'm assuming that you can't run bash scripts on Windows. I did see something here. It says brew install JQ on Mac OS. So he's really, say AMP CLI. See, that's that AMP thing that I mentioned earlier. Oh, sorry, I didn't have it shared. George said, how do you run this on PC? This could just as well be a Python script that you run. You might have to search like a Windows. You say yes for the bash script, you can run bash scripts. But either way, I think this is a bash script. It could be Python. It could be any language. It could be TypeScript. This could be a Node script that runs this code. It just needs to be able to run applications like this is running AMP, which bash scripts can do. So yeah, all that to say, the reason why we talk about this is very interesting, and I totally recommend that everyone plays around with Ralph to see if it actually has an impact on getting your features built. there's nothing, like I say, there's nothing big, or there's nothing too big or too small for Ralph to run. It really just leverages that fresh context and that ability just to not pollute the context window. The important thing here, which underpins this whole conversation, isn't Ralph. It's the fact that we are now entering this new age where we were once fussing around, should it be Claude Code? Should we use Codex? Should we use Cursor? What model should we use? All of this conversation is now behind us. We're now learning what it takes or what it means to be a software developer in 2026 using AI. And it's becoming less and less important about the code that you write. You will no longer be hired for the code that you write, because the code that you write is a commodity now. The important aspect is how you scrub up and how you be a better orchestrator, a better engineer to understand how all of these puzzle pieces fit together. And this is so crucial. And it's something I love because I get to entertain my UX hat as well as my DevOps hat, how I architect these. I'm not the best. I'm not going to claim to be the best, but I love playing in this world where it's not about whether I can or cannot write a function to do something. It's whether I know that this function fits, or sorry, this feature fits in the grand scheme of this project, or this tool that fits the users and the demands of the client. And that's where software development is now. I mentioned last week that I don't think we know what we're building, don't know what we will be building in a couple of months. And this further emphasizes the fact that, you as an engineer, again, just will not be hired as a coder. Your role will exist. You'll be paid to know how everything fits together. So gone are the days of counting lines of code written, because it's just not important anymore. It's still a troubling time, because this does remove the need of potentially several developers costing a lot of money. Because if you've got one developer who can just do all this, because you don't, instead of writing 6 features, each individual developer writing 6 features, you've got one developer writing all 6 on a Ralph Wiggum loop, which, by the way, can iterate through different tasks, different feature sets, one after the other, instead of parallel, like you would traditionally do it. So this is why this is important. Who knows what the next tool might be? You mentioned a character from Rick and Morty.
Oh, yeah, Mr. Meeseeks.
Anyone know about that? Like, that could be the next one. Maybe,
yeah,
because you said, go on, explain.
Yeah, so with Mr. Meeseeks, it's so fun. Like, Rick does this, like, it's a character to help. It's kind of an assistant. And you ask Mr. Meeseeks to do something, it comes to existence, it does it, and the moment the task is done, poof, he's gone. He doesn't exist anymore. Now that the whole joke and thing is about what if you give it a task that it can't do, and that is where it starts to ask for another Mr. Meeseeks to help him, and another Mr. Meeseeks to help him, and that is kind of like the sub agents that we do. But it is very interesting because it reminded me of that, because it will also try until the job is done, and then next Mr. Meeseeks also is kind of like fresh context. Exactly. So anyone who knows it, comment.
Yeah. So you're not sort of like a loser. But jokes aside, like, that could be the next iteration of this. So I'm digging massively into Claude Code right now, and I'm looking into some of the features, and I've been learning that slash commands, which are shortcuts, can be used by sub agents. So you can say, once you've done this, use the /pr commit, git commit slash command, or review slash command, whatever. You can tell it to do the slash command. So there's this inner task that's running that it can run. It has an agent has access to things like that. I'm also seeing here that he's got skills. Now, skills are another Claude Code thing. it could be that the next iteration of a Ralph Wiggum thing is someone's figured out a way that it does spin off sub agents and it does ask for help or something like that. I don't know. I'm just spitballing, but this is the new era that we're going in, and Ralph just might be the start of it. And I compared it similarly to DeepSeek when DeepSeek first came out. DeepSeek was not the smartest, best model in the world. That's not why it made waves. The reason why it made waves is because China proved that you can train an AI for a fraction of the cost that all the big companies were doing, and it'd be a pretty okay model, and that's why it shook things up. We're seeing seismic shifts in some of the undertones that are happening, not in the most obvious ways. So that's Ralph Wiggum in a nutshell. We'll leave links for everything, down below once the video is out and stuff. But yeah, pretty cool.
Cool. So what do we do with
any questions? Let us know.
Yeah.
Sorry, what do we do with the what?
With the coding for 1 week thing.
Yeah, go for it. Whack it up,
yeah.
And we'll talk about it briefly, and then we'll move on.
Yeah. So I will show it. Where do I have it? Anyway, I will show it. So here we have an article by Cursor. This is where they gave a task or like made this project to create a browser completely from scratch. An original idea. But it's a quite difficult task to create a browser from zero. So they did it, and they gave ChatGPT 5.2 a whole week to run uninterrupted to create this. And they wrote this article about it, and it's pretty interesting. And you see here how it starts to render HTML, and you see it doesn't really work at the start, but as it iterates, it gets better and better. And they say it kind of works. It is not perfect. It has lots of bugs apparently, and it doesn't support all the CSS and everything that the modern browsers have. But it's a very interesting experiment that they did. And by the way, ChatGPT wrote like 3 million lines of code. Earlier you said it doesn't matter, like you're not judged by the code you write, because the code is written by these AI tools, and you can just make 3 million lines of code and throw it away next day. That's quite literally what we're doing nowadays. So yeah, this is a very interesting thing that is happening, and it is very related to the other video, the Ralph Wiggum one. I don't know. So you looked at the article and you said this is they use a different method. So what they are doing, they have multiple agents doing different tasks, right?
Yeah, they don't mention Ralph at all in this. I think this is more of an exercise of, and I believe everyone should do this, is how far can they push? How far can they push AI? What can it do for us? Like, I didn't read, or I don't know what the goal of this was. But what do they say? Are they actually trying
research?
To build
this is
a
like
browser?
just this is they are trying. No, it's not about. I believe, from what I understand, it was just to see what they can do. It seems like Cursor is trying. They're trying to do multiple. Like they're trying different ways of creating software every week. And here what's next is interesting. Multi-agent coordination remains a hard problem. Our current system works, but we are nowhere near optimal. Yeah, planners should wake up when their tasks complete to plan the next step. Agents occasionally run for far too long. We still need periodic fresh starts to combat drift and tunnel vision. These are like, we see these, like we try to fix something, and the model gets into this tunnel vision. It's really difficult to get them out. So you have to start, and it is hard to run them and give them let's say, broad or like general task and expect them to create something of quality and of detail. They are not there to do such a thing yet because of these issues, but we're getting there. We are like trying different things. Ralph Wiggum, one of them, and multiple agents also is another way of doing it. But the core question, can we scale autonomous coding by throwing more agents at a problem? Let me actually zoom in. At a problem has a more optimistic answer than we expected. Hundreds of agents can work together on a single code base for weeks, making real progress and ambitious projects. The techniques we are developing here will eventually inform Cursor's agent capabilities. If you are interested in working on the hardest problems in AI software development, they are trying to hire. So this is interesting to me that they are trying something and then they're publishing their results. That's it.
So I think, like, to drag Ralph back into this, I think they've encountered all of the things that Ralph solves, right? And what these guys, Cursor, are, I mean, I know they've built basically the best AI IDE you can get, but they are working within the shackles of what AI can do. I've got to phrase this in the right way. They're working underneath AI, whereas I feel like the Ralph thing works above AI, if that makes sense. Like, they are, we have to, context is built up, so we need to think about how we do that. It's like, well, what if context isn't a thing? Like, it's almost like it's so outside the box. You know what I mean? Like, the thinking about Ralph Wiggum outside of the box, that it rewrites all of these are just not issues. And there was a second article that they wrote about the orchestration issue. You know, you don't need agents running side by side, and how do you fix that? It's like, well, what if it doesn't matter? Or what if you run linearly? What if it's not about parallelism, which is, again, locked into the idea of you have 6 developers working on 6 features. What if you have 1 developer fully autonomous working on all of the features one after the next, you know?
Yeah. Well, time is the concern here, I believe. Like, you prefer
time is not an issue now, because you can build features in minutes as opposed to days.
But if,
you know?
but if everybody can do it, the whole industry is changing, and now the
exactly,
like smaller teams can do bigger stuff. There was this idea that we will have like billion-dollar companies this year, made by one person.
Individuals,
individuals will be able to create like huge companies because, you know, this new paradigm.
For sure.
You can have a lot of Mr. Meeseeks.
A lot of Ralphs.
Okay.
A lot of Ralphs running.
Yeah. Who wins, Mr. Meeseeks or Ralph? Let us know in the comments.
What's a better analogy or character, mascot?
Yeah, I think Mr. Meeseeks is, he's funny. Anyway, so this was the article.
Nice. Well, if you follow me as an individual, because I do have my own channel and I like to plug it as much as humanly possible, I've just released a video on another kind of groundbreaking moment in AI, which is the tool search tool in Claude Code. Now, if you don't know what tool search tool is, it's a way of handling MCPs. MCPs take up a lot of context. To have them running all the time. And the disadvantage of this is that you need to shut them on, you need to shut them off. Like, if you don't need to use the GitHub MCP, shut it off, because it's taking up your precious context inside of Claude Code. Tool search just takes the description, a well-written description of the MCP, and it just cares about that. And then it will dynamically load or lazy load, as they call it, the MCP when it needs it. That was brought out in the API You know, if you use if you use Anthropic's API and you want to just, use it that way, but it wasn't available in Claude Code. Well, now I'm proud to say that it has indeed been released on Claude Code. And you'll see from this screenshot here, I don't know if you recognize this, if you're a user of Claude Code, but there was always this MCP line and it's always blue and taking up loads of context. And you can see that Tarek's MCP layer is completely empty and you don't need to do nothing. You don't need to do anything to have this work. It's literally just update Claude and it will just work, and it will just remove the all of the MCP context status. Now, annoyingly, I have to log in, but let's leave that for now because I can do everything by voice. It works in the Claude desktop app, which is really good, handy, because a lot more, and we'll get into Cowork as well now. A lot of people are using the Claude desktop app. But what this means is, and it was something we spoke about last week when we went through Boris's use of Claude Code. He does everything from Claude Code. Let me know. We've spoken about MCP so much, but I'm really curious to know where people's knowledge gaps lie and what MCPs do. But it's a way to interact with applications and online services like Notion or whatever you're using, Slack. It's a way to interact with them all within your AI, and you write natural language rather than saying send, interact with that API, rather than send the name, last name, email address, as like a JSON structure. You just write it on plain English and it will send it off, get the data and present it back to you in plain English. None of this coding nonsense that you typically have to deal with when working with traditional APIs. MCPs answer that question. Now, because of this, on the one hand, we can use tools like Taskmaster to help us code as we write code. It could be documentation. I use one called Ref. It's an MCP that helps extract up-to-date documentation for newer technologies. So we can use it to help us write code, but we can also use it just to, again, update a Notion database. Let's say we've got a new, we do everything in Notion for the podcast. Instead of going on to Notion or opening up the app, just do it all within Claude Code, because I'm sat there, MCP is running.
I want to try it.
It's no longer taking up context, so I can just leave it running. I normally really just, and then you load up Claude Code and then you realize everything's like compacting really quickly. And then I shoot up MCP and it's like, because all the MCPs are now turned on again, even though I turned them all off. So it's really frustrating to manage your MCPs like that. Now I can just leave them all running. Now I can push to GitHub. Now I can chat with Notion. The Notion MCP is actually really well featured. You can get users. You can update pages. You can update databases. You can add to, it's a really well featured MCP. So I'd definitely try it. So now you can add this in Cursor whilst you're there coding. Little side quest. Add a thing to our little page that we've got for our news articles. Jobs are good, and you know what I mean.
Interesting.
All within Cursor.
All within Cursor. Could I do that from my phone?
I don't think there's an MCP client that runs on your phone. Like you need an MCP client. You need something that you can load MCPs. You might as well just download the app when it comes to that. But if there's a tool, I don't think I've even Claude downloaded. But if there's something that I do, just not signed in. If there's something that runs MCPs on your phone, absolutely. Just you need an MCP client. I'm hoping that is that a good explanation, because it is complicated. I understand it's complicated, and I've got a video coming out next week specifically on MCPs. But I would like for people to feel like that they understand MCPs, the reason why it's important. Again, in my video next week, I'm going to show you what a traditional, if I was going to update a database on Notion with code, like what that would look like if you're going to write code. Now, I don't need to write any code. I can just literally say, and the AI will just figure out everything out in between. It's beautiful.
understand the idea, but I didn't have like a proper use case until this week. We launched a website for a client, and the images are not exactly how I want them. Like, so I don't want to go to the CMS and download everything and re-upload and so on. I want to use the Webflow MCP to download all the images. I haven't done this yet, but that's the plan, to download all the images, change them all to what I want, basically the dimensions and a few things like that. I don't know if I could edit them. Could I like edit them, bulk edit them?
Depends what the MCP, Webflow MCP allows you to do. So
No,
maybe
like
there's
with something else. That's what I mean. Like download them.
Okay.
Put them on my Dropbox or whatever, and then use another MCP to edit them, and then re-upload them to Webflow.
Potentially, I just would not know what MCP you could run. You could the Figma MCP reads from your Figma, but I don't think it writes to your Figma. So there might be one thing you can do. But what I would do is download them to my local machine. And because I use Warp, which is my AI terminal, I have ImageMagick on downloaded on my computer. So I'll just ask the AI terminal to say, look at this folder, change, do this to the image. Because mostly everything's run by ImageMagick. FFmpeg and ImageMagick literally run pretty much every image editing tool or whatever you've ever seen. But yeah, you'll have to look around to see if there are any image editing. What do you want to do to the images as an example?
Change the dimensions. And maybe if I could, would be cool to boost the contrast. You know how Apple has this auto edit mode where it just adds a bit of contrast, a bit of color automatically. That would be nice.
Yeah, so I would again download them to my local machine, and I would then go into Warp and say go in this folder and boost the contrast and change the dimensions to 16:9 or 9:16 or something like that. And I think ImageMagick is so good that you can it probably has some sort of face detection. Let's say they're all profile pictures, and it probably has some sort of face detection, or at least a face detection plugin, and then just let my AI terminal do it, sort of thing. But I don't know whether there are any image editing MCPs that you can throw an image to and whatever.
Are you using Warp, the free version, or the paid one?
I'm paying for it, but I'd be interested to know what the free version gets you. If you do think about it, let me know, because I am on fire with my referrals for Warp, because I think everyone who sees me use it, just like, that's amazing. In fact, I'm going to give you a
send me the referral. Send it in the chat as well.
I'll send the chat, because it is honestly really great, because it's just, especially as you start to download FFmpeg, which is video editing or whatever, ImageMagick, which is image editing. If you're accessing servers as well, if I'm having trouble with a server, like I'll just say, log into the server and figure out. I've had a lot of problems with Docker images, so many Docker images running and taking up loads of memory. I just say, find out where we can save memory on this server, and it will literally just do everything. It's great to have. It's great to have an AI terminal. It's like I would describe it, and we'll get into Cowork again. I've said that a couple of times, but we'll get into Cowork. I've put it up on the thing. Cool. It's basically what Apple Intelligence should be. It just turns your Mac into an AI Mac. It's great. So cool. Yeah, that's tool search. Should we move on to Apple Gemini?
Yeah.
This can be a quick one, because I don't necessarily have a tremendous amount to say to this. But have you guys seen that Apple have given up and they are now resorting to Gemini to run their AI-powered Siri? So this is another iteration on Siri. We saw the big update where it goes, all nice and colorful around the edge. Well, now they're going to update it again, and they're going to use Gemini.
So Apple Intelligence is sort of Google Intelligence.
Basically.
Yeah, basically.
I wonder what. Oh, go on.
Yeah, they say we're using this foundational model from Google for our foundational model, which is kind of like doesn't mean much because it is their foundational model. How can it be?
Yeah, exactly right. Well, here's the thing. So this is my input. This is my take on all this. So I think people are focused on Gemini now. Google have an open source coding AI called Gemma, and you can do what you want with it because it's open source. Now, I for sure Gemini is probably built on top of Gemma. So I think in the same way, Apple Intelligence will be built on top of Gemma, and they'll be able to call it whatever they want. So I think people are expecting, again, it just to be like not necessarily a direct copy of Gemini, but I don't think it will be Gemini. I think it won't there will be features that Gemini has that Apple Intelligence won't have. And I think this is prevalent across the industry, right? Apple don't make their own chips. They just help design them. They take a base, construction layer from TMC or whatever it is, and then they add their own layer on top of it. They're not a manufacturer. Apple don't manufacture anything. They just design. So I don't think this is all that, controversial that they're taking Gemini.
This goes back to this thing that everything is a wrapper.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah, everything is a wrapper. It's just like changing the layer of abstraction. In this case, Google, I don't know, like Google's model is based on something else, and then it's using either NVIDIA chips or like nowadays some of their chips. So yeah.
The interesting thing is, obviously, Gemma is an open source model, right? They don't have to pay a cent for it. Yeah, I did just see, I highlighted on the screen. Apple was planning to pay about $1 billion a year to utilize Google AI. Again, this is all, speculation at this point. And I do wonder what's going to happen. I wonder what's going to happen to OpenAI, because obviously right now is that if Siri can't sort your issue, it'll forward it to ChatGPT, which will still fail because the integration is just awful. But where does that leave OpenAI in this mix? Will it still resort to OpenAI because technically under the hood, which you shouldn't really care about, Apple Foundation model is using Gemma or Gemini?
Yeah, I would be really surprised if they would use Gemini and then if it couldn't do it, send you to OpenAI. I would be really.
But here's the thing: is it Gemini or is it Gemma, which is open source? And looking at the terms and conditions, does it say that you have to, like, if you were to use Llama, if you have a certain amount of users, you have to actually say you're using Llama? Whereas I don't know what Google Gemma's terms and conditions are.
Yeah, well,
we don't.
Apple is going to pay $1 billion, which is not a lot. It is.
Well, I don't think any of this article is anything. The only thing factual is that Apple has picked Google. I think the $1 million, we're all speculating at this point. You know what I mean? I think
because Google is paying Apple $20 billion a year to be their default search engine.
Yeah. And this is, it is what it is. This is the cost of doing business. It's so funny to me how you're going to have like one arm of the company literally taking the other arm of a company to court, yet you've then got handshakes and smiles in other areas. It's crazy. I think they literally just think this is business. This is just business.
Yeah.
No heart, no soul, just business.
It's just business. It is quite funny, like the Samsung news. I mentioned it just to you in private. Like Samsung couldn't buy RAM from Samsung because the company has different arms, and the arm that was selling RAM tries to maximize profit, and they're selling it to server companies and companies that need it for AI, and the mobile division couldn't buy it from the from the same company, and because
it's wild how all this works. Like, I wish in some ways I wish I knew more about it. In other ways, it makes me really depressed. In other ways, I'm glad I don't know anything about it. We haven't spoken about it yet, but Big A, you've seen the video by Big A where he talks about this new way of acquiring companies.
Oh yeah.
So you don't acquire people don't acquire companies anymore. We first saw it with Meta and Scale AI. They don't acquire Scale AI, but what they do is buy their staff, buy the head honchos, and that by proxy gives them aspects of the company. Zero Shot is more powerful than Ralph, I think. You know, again, we're not here to debate whether something is better or worse. I think, as I said at the end of the section, I wonder if Zara Godex is caught up. Presumably not, but if you are still watching at this point, we're not here to debate whether something is good or bad. We're here to almost celebrate or identify a shift in how we use AI or how AI works for us, as opposed to any specific technique being better or worse. It's like we're starting to now command AI. Anyway, I'm presuming they aren't fully caught up, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see. But sorry, that I was saying about the Big A thing. Yeah, it's you're acquiring different aspects of a company, and he uses the boat analogy where it's like, well, how if you replace the sail and then you replace the kind of mast and then you replace the deck and then you replace, at what point does it not become a boat anymore? I've forgotten the not analogy, but the theory or the paradox or whatever it's called. But the point is we're in a weird world of business, and I wish there's probably things we're missing out on as business people, but it goes over my head sometimes how businesses operate.
Yeah. So
Cowork?
Yeah, I can show my screen.
Yeah? I didn't realize you were going to show your screen. Gosh. Please.
Have you seen the video?
Of course.
Okay,
mate.
So
I've dug deep.
Yeah, we can watch it together and then we'll talk about it. All right. So there's a new tool by Claude. It's called Claude Cowork, and it's going to help you with any tasks you have, apparently. So not just chat, but ask it to do something, which in this case, what do we see? We see create a file, crunch data, make prototype, prep for the day, organize files, send a message. And then you see like it works with your finder and file system, and it can access your desktop, I guess, and do everything. It's quite scary, the things it does, but also sounds very interesting. It got also like 50 million views almost. Yeah. Actually, one more thing. And this is where it gets interesting with what it does. Check Google Calendar, and it opens the tab. Does it do it all, or like how does that work?
The Chrome extension.
Okay. Okay, gotcha. Because it can get scary to the level of access that you can give these tools. Anyway, so this is it, and again, Twitter being Twitter today. Oh man, it's not loading. Okay, it is loading. So here they ask it to organize the files, and this is what is very interesting to me, because I'm not very organized, and I have some older hard drives that are very unorganized, and I would like to organize them, but I don't know. Like, yeah, this is kind of interesting how it does it. Documents, photos, very cleaning. It cleans it up very nicely and tidy. Have you tried it? This is only for people who have access to the max mode. That is like, I believe, the $200 per month plan, right?
No, yeah. No, I've not tried it yet. I mean, in summary, I would describe this as Claude Code for normies, right?
Yeah,
I
but
can
it
already
does
do this
anything,
all
right?
with Claude Code. I can already do this with Claude Code, right?
Ah, okay, interesting.
I
Okay,
can already
that
do
is, I
this with
didn't know that.
Warp. And in fact,
Okay.
yesterday
Well, I
I
guess I understand. Yeah.
had all my hard drives out, and so I use Screen Studio to record all my screen sharing videos that I do on my personal channel, right? And I
Yeah.
wanted to move the Screen Studio file into the folder that was associated with the video that it was doing, because it saves it in a separate folder. And I told Warp, say, look at the name of this Screen Studio file, do a fuzzy search inside of this folder. If you find something, let me know, and then I'll decide whether I want you to move it into that folder or not. And it wrote a bash script and went through it, and then it would ask me, we found these 3 folders that it might belong to. Which one do you want to do, or do you want to skip it? And literally, like, I'm a coder. Cowork is not for me. It's for people that it's called Code for Normies.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it introduces or further exemplifies the seismic shift we're seeing not only in software development, but also in normies, where we're starting to think about what can we build, what can we do, what systems can we build to get micro jobs done. Not, we don't need to build a SaaS product to help us, build a pipeline system for this, that, and the other. We just want to clean our desktop. How can I do that more efficiently?
Yeah.
Organize my files into, categorize them in certain ways and then put them into folders, be a bit more specific about them rather than dragging and dropping and doing. We're thinking more about how we can use software day to day on really small tasks to help get our job done that will never see the light of day, that we'll just scrap after, once it's been used. Just use one. Theo released a video today talking about he's building software that is literally going to be used once and then you throw it away. So devs are thinking like this, and I think Anthropic are trying to make the workforce think like this, hence Cowork. And did you know they built it in a week and a half using Claude Code?
that is actually very interesting, and Claude Code wrote 100% of it.
Yeah, 100%. So
that is insane.
Yeah. So it's really cool. And I made a video a few weeks ago, and I asked my brother, if you could build any app, what would you build? And he gave me an idea. And yes, you couldn't do what he wanted with Cowork, for sure. But it was beautiful to give someone that power, that superpower, to say you can build your own software to get just stupid little things done.
Like what?
And I'm getting more and more stupid things, little stupid things done from every day,
Like the example I gave with like the drink thing. I want to have it like when my friends come over, and I want to have a list of who wants what and their favorites, their comments on it, and like star ratings. And I want to have like a nice thing like when they come by. And I'm already pretty sure it will be much better than what restaurants and bars have.
Probably.
Currently. Yeah.
Probably.
Like people who think like there won't be any software to be written, I think they haven't seen, they haven't gotten out to see like how bad the software situation is everywhere. Like we have the best, and it's still like quite buggy, right?
Yeah.
We have the best.
Absolutely.
Like the Mac and everything on the web and everything. But if you look at other industries and other jobs and like the software that they use, a lot of it is from it's from the 90s. It's old. It's really bad. It has no UX anyway. So it's fun to see all of these being done with Claude Code and things similar to that.
Yeah. And I think it's only going to get more and more prevalent. People just, again, not thinking about it. Just, I need this. Again, I just need to organize all my hard drives. Yeah. I asked AI to build the script, but that's all Cowork is doing, is building a script that will run all this moving of files, comparing files and whatever. This is more of a conversational aspect where it can actually give you feedback and whatever. I mean, mine can. I can ask it to, like, So yeah, it's really cool.
So this is just, I know we are continuing on this conversation, but this is what I've talked about in the past. UI for AI. We are seeing more and more UI for AI. And I see this also in Cursor. When I use the plan mode, I pretty much always say, ask me stuff, give me ideas. Here are my ideas, but like, use it as a seed and give me more, right? And then it comes back with like a list of selection. So previously I had to type in. Now I can literally select the things that the options that it's giving me, and I can always add stuff to the chat. But I'm seeing more UI for AI, and I like that.
Yeah, it's cool. So yeah, presumably you haven't used Cowork either.
No, because it's for the max. That's for the rich.
For the rich, yeah. I mean, I think you can get it for the 19. Oh no, it's Pro. Probably be $100. Yeah.
Yeah.
I bought
I will probably get it. Yeah.
I bought the $19 a month thing because I was doing some tutorials and whatever, and I didn't really want to spend the 100 just because I wasn't coding at the moment. The $19 ran out pretty quickly, and then I needed an upgrade, and so I'm back on the 100. They always get me crawling back.
Yeah. I'm already eating the Cursor, the extra money that you pay them. What is it called? Like for the extra context, not context, for the extra tokens.
Oh, I don't know. I'm not.
Yeah.
Do you know? I literally use Cursor as a text editor now. Like I'm not continue my subscription. I've no need to continue. I'll just use.
I see.
VS Code.
Just just use Claude
and VS Code as a text editor.
Yeah.
Thinking, do we cover the Anthropic blocking apps? I mean, to be honest, my take was always going to be, I sort of see both. I don't understand the issue enough to really care as much.
I don't know what happened.
So users of OpenCode, another very, very popular CLI, were, I'm going to see if they got the message somewhere. This credential is not only authorized for use with Claude Code and cannot be used with other API requests. So OpenCode allowed you to use your Claude Code subscription with their tool. And they got this message, and then Dax tweeted out a fix for it. You need to prefix your API key with certain characters, and then they blocked it again. And this is Anthropic's attempt to make you, well, maybe we will get into this actually, force you to use Claude Code if you're on that max plan. So it's so funny how we've just talking about the max plan. This forces you to use Claude Code when you're using their max plan. The max plan is not for you to use other tools. And Dax, the guy from OpenCode, said quite rightly that models are not sticky. Models aren't the reason why people are staying with companies. It's why you've got OpenAI throwing everything at the wall, because the model alone is not really the thing that's keeping people. It's the ecosystem around it. It's the tooling around it. Similarly, Claude Code or Claude Anthropic, they want to tie you into their system as much as possible. So there's no opportunity or thought or reason for you to jump, do something else. On the surface, it's like, yeah, they're still getting paid. All it is that CLI. But the more you use all their features, the more you use like, Cowork or skills or /command sub-agents, all this sort of stuff, you start to become a goldfish in a goldfish bowl in some ways, and you don't really look out elsewhere because you're just constantly seeing that orange butthole, that little orange star thing, and all you think about is Anthropic, Claude Code, So on the one hand, Dax, understood, and he's the guy who invented open code. On the other hand, a lot of people are very frustrated with this. And all I would say is go watch their videos, because I'm sort of in the middle a little bit with it all. I think it comes down to just choice, but it's against their TOCs. It's always been against their TOCs to use this. Or no, sorry. Because the law is, if there is a loophole, then people can use that loophole, right? If you leave a loophole in, then people can use it, and it's not against the law. So the terms of service might be something a little less specific than you can only use this with Claude Code. It might be a bit more abstract and a bit more, just a bit more abstract and less specific about using it with Claude Code. It might leave open to interpretation that you could, in fact, use this with Open Code or any other, tool and platform. Last thing I'll say is Claude Code you can run as an NCP server. So that's another way you could potentially, like, I can use Claude Code with Cursor, and I've got a short on that. I think I released it this week. You can, you can set up. It will be on next week's video as well. You can set up Claude Code as an MCP server and access Claude Code within Cursor. So I don't know whether that's a bypass, but yeah, that's all I have to say on that.
Cool. Yeah, that was a short one.
Nothing to say on that one then.
No, not really. I'm not very familiar with it.
So okay, so we have.
This one is interesting.
Yeah, this is interesting. Obviously, guys, in the comments, let us know your thoughts. But OpenAI, and I haven't read too much about this as well, so it might also be very short. But OpenAI has acquired Torch, a healthcare startup that unifies lab results, medications, and visit recordings. Bringing this together with ChatGPT Health opens up a new way to understand and manage your health. Now, on the one hand, you've really, really got to be careful with your health. And the fact that I need to say that means that there are plenty of people not really realizing that when they give their health to AI, that it could, in fact, one, hallucinate, two, be composed of answers from losers on Reddit who don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Yeah.
Yet AI has learned from that conversation.
You know about the issue with parents. It's kind of like a joke, taking advice from Instagram Reels.
Yeah,
they are just they are being exposed to this like short form content, and everybody is talking about something they have no fucking idea about. And parents, or more older people, they don't know, and they just look at it, and then suddenly your mom is telling you she might have this disease because that person on Instagram had something similar and they did X and Y, and it might be all hallucinations of humans. And now AI is learning from that, which can be.
And I think it's less about hallucinations. I mean, I'm just chatting shit. Don't listen to me. But like, I think it's less about hallucinations. I think it's literally just about the information that's been given is not necessarily grounded in truth. Right? It's grounded in it's Reddit is a massive source of information for OpenAI, ChatGPT, massive source, right? That's a whole drama in of itself because Sam Altman, what did he do? Did he own Reddit, or he was a investor in Reddit or something?
I think it was an investor,
he did some sneaky shit to get it into OpenAI, and now Reddit's basically a cesspool. Well, it's always been a cesspool anyway. And it's interesting that OpenAI will never, if they, you open up Torch or their implementation of Torch, on the one hand, OpenAI wouldn't say, guys, you cannot take this stuff. They want to be proud of their product. They want to say their product is really good, but realistically and morally, they should say this is artificially generated or data and information, and that you should go see a doctor. You should really go see a doctor. Like, really hammer point home that it's not just a little bit of small text you put on the bottom of an advert to say, like, I don't know, X, Y. It's not just a little bit. It's not something you should do. It's something you should take into account. Like,
Yeah.
Um,
So
yeah.
what I don't like about this new world that we are in it, whether it's with health or software development, it feels like nobody knows shit. And it feels like there is less and less care for knowing like specifics. It seems like everything is an approximity of truth, but not truth. But truth cannot be just approximately true. It has to be definitely true.
Yeah.
And this is what AI is doing. It is like almost true most of the time. It's not just hallucination. It is some sort of like a soup mix of everything together. And it might sound right, it might be mostly right, but there are so many cases where you don't want a general soup of like truth. You want a definite, maybe even cited, by a human, let's say, expert view on something, like somebody who has made up their mind on something. Sometimes you need that much more than something that is just fuzzy and sort of true. So
So
yeah,
two points on this. One, you've hit like a real pet peeve of mine at the moment, which it's not about AI. It's nothing to do with AI. It's we've just become so accustomed to, and this is the lamest example, but I was on Instagram and I flick through and I get this story that someone's telling me about the bassist of my favorite band, and he's telling the story about how he came up with the song, and he's talking and he's just saying this story and then just ends the thing, and I'm like why are we in this world where this person just feels no like desire to say Mark, the bassist, told this story in an interview with Rolling Stone? Why they feel no need to cite their sources is wild to me. Like, Mark didn't tell you this story. It's just like, trust me, bro. This is
I wanted
it.
to say that. Trust me, bro. That's
Trust
the
me,
source.
bro. And by the way, I think this story is true. And people hammer me in the comments, and I'm like, it might be true. I'm not doubting that it isn't true. Well, I am doubting it's a little bit untrue. But my point is, just cite your sources. Like, we go through our articles here. We show the articles. It's really important for us to show the articles. It's not hearsay. It's not this person said this person said that. Of course, you're allowed your own, interpretations of things, and we're not going to get everything perfect all the time, but I like to think that we show you the source and we talk about that. We're not just like, trust me, bro. And similarly, there's a great annoyingly, there's a YouTube channel called Better Stack, and they released a video on the tool search thing, which if you just joined us, like we talked about the tool search in Claude Code at the beginning of this show. My video released, and I've forgotten the name of my video, but their video was titled "This recent release made Claude 10x faster." Now, there are two problems with that title. One, the tool search tool does not inherently make MCPs faster. It doesn't make it fast. In fact, I questioned in my video, I said, does it now make it slower? Because it's got to do that extra search to whatever. Maybe in some ways you could squint a little bit and say, well, there's less context, so it's got less information to process. Maybe there's something to be said about that. But what I do have a problem with is 10x. And I know we say it in conversation when we're oh man, I was like 100 times faster this morning on my run. I know we say it in a, what's the word, colloquial way. We say this sort of stuff. But when you're putting information out there and you present no facts or no statistics or no testing to say 10x, then it becomes a problem, especially if you're a news source. Do you know what I mean? We just throw stuff out there. And more for me at the end of the day, because I'm the one getting pissed off with it, because the youth of today the folks at home, they're not picking up on the absurdity and the destruction of what this actually means, because it means that when you say stats or when actual figures are put out there, you then ignore them and you don't really process them in the same sort of way. Cancer rates have dropped by 10x. Like, they're just saying that. No, this is a big deal. You know what I mean? Like, it's.
I know exactly what you mean. I don't want to get political. I just say that if you look in the world, what's happening, you see that everywhere. It seems like we're moving towards where truth doesn't mean shit. Like saying, you just say things and you don't cite, your sources. You don't care about like the truth anymore. Essentially, you don't care about like the scientific method. You don't care about any of that. You just make up things, and you can't base everything on your feelings, like how you feel today, and you just go on about make decisions based on that. And I think we were on a different path. I tend to not think like the society has a downfall. I tend to not think that way, but it's getting really, really difficult to not see it that way, because more and more misinformation is being shared, and people are getting more and more lazy about it, or like they just straight up don't care that. Because I do care. I don't want anyone to come to me and give me some bullshit explanation of something. If somebody in your like personal life or like in your circle gives you bullshit, you shouldn't take it. You shouldn't allow people to bullshit you. So why do we allow that on a bigger circle that we have, which could be social media, it could be geopolitics, it could be companies, with our data, whatever it is. We should be a bit more, should care a little bit more about that.
And my overall rule and my overall message to everyone is question everything. Like, don't just accept things at face value. And also respect that you do have and will have different opinions, and they're totally valid. Like, it's okay that you don't, if you think something should be done a certain way, like that's totally valid. So just question everything you hear. Don't just accept it and that's what it is. I know we're preconditions and it's easier said than done. Newspapers have been doing it for years with the headline. They just say a headline and it's like you read it and there's actually not really a lot to do with the headline, but clickbait has always been a thing.
Clickbait,
right? But the second thing I wanted to say was, we were talking about Torch AI and health and getting an opinion from a doctor, basically, is where we're going with that. And AI is not a doctor and making up shit and all the rest of it. Another message to everyone is like, don't put humans on such a high pedestal either. Like, AI is good. It makes mistakes. We talk about the easiest example I can give is hallucination rate, right? Hallucination rate. Humans hallucinate all the friggin' time. We're hallucinating, like, probably more. So we get on our high horse about like, what did I see today or yesterday? AI made some silly. I was watching like an historic video, which is really cool, really interesting way to showcase AI, in that someone does historical videos, and he was doing one about Lisbon, and he's taking paintings and sketches of Lisbon way back in the 1800s, and then animating them with AI. And I think this is a really nice way to like visualize Lisbon back in the 1800s, or probably even earlier than that, probably 1500s, right? He's very obvious about the fact that there's AI. And then there was one scene where the flag was like a different flag, or it was the wrong flag that AI had obviously whatever. And then there was this big onslaught of people laughing, and they think AI is going to like, rule the world, all this and that. It's like, Jesus Christ. Like, if you're going to use that as a reason why AI isn't going to rule the world or this or that, I bet you're completely unaware about how many paintings, sketches, or stories, or written scripts, or whatever that humans have just got totally wrong.
Yeah.
You know, but you just don't know about it. But you're then like getting on your high horse, pointing your finger. AI so shit. I'm perfect. It was just so funny to me. Like, obviously, I see both sides. I understand what they're saying,
but we have methods for that. You know, we have the scientific method to basically use tools to replicate and then make sure that, you know, that we know that we hallucinate. We know that we get things wrong, but we have ways to get better at it and do better. And all I'm saying, we should question it. Like what we said,
absolutely,
just question it, and it's fun. I like it. It is fun to question stuff and go and learn.
All that to be said, who knows what Torch and OpenAI are going to do, or at least, you know, what
is it going to be related to Johnny Ive?
So
I don't know.
So there is word about it syncing with health data of your like Apple Watch, and you know the worry would be that it would take Apple Watch data and it would take your health data and give you interpretations of that, which the state of AI currently is worrying, because it could say like my watch will alert me when my heart rate goes down below 40 beats per minute. And it often does, because I'm a very fit, well, not so much right now because it's just come out of Christmas and it's winter. But when I'm at my peak and I'm sleeping, my heart rate goes down below 40 beat, whatever. It's normal. But AI will probably flag that as something I need to worry about, sort of thing. But all this to be said.
Yeah.
Take it with a pinch of salt.
Yeah, always. You know the joke, like you go to Google and Google is like, you got cancer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know,
you go with a headache and like.
I think we're getting better at being more critical on that sort of stuff, because that joke,
I hope so.
As funny as it is, that joke has now prepared us for, of course, we're going to see cancer in this list of things. And I did a health search just the other day, and it was like, of course, cancer entered that list. But now I'm armed with the knowledge that I need to just take everything with a grain of salt and just be a bit more critical on it. I feel like we're going to hopefully get better at that as the more we hear about AI. And it's like, okay, AI has told me this, but I'm not going to just fucking freak out. I'm just going to take that information, absorb it, do a little bit self-diagnosis, and if things don't get better, I'm going to go to a doctor. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. This is where it's, to me, very unresolved, and it's very interesting to see what we are going to do with all this approximate knowledge. Yeah.
Anything else to say on that? Because we've got two more to get through.
Yeah.
One of them I'm quite excited about, but this is probably more of a comment, and probably should have formed part of the comment section. But this was a video again. Theo is really making a lot of appearances in these videos.
Hi, Theo.
Hi, Theo, if you're watching. He released this video this morning, in fact, one day ago. Maybe it was yesterday morning. But it was called "Code is Cheap, Software Isn't." He's changed the title, or I'm thinking of the thumbnail. Don't know. But it's something we've spoken about a few times, or at least I have spoken about this idea. We spoke about it earlier on in this episode, where code is so cheap to write now. Like writing millions of lines of code is a trivial task now. And this is the root article. So realistically, we should probably link you to this article here. Here we go. This is the article. And the interesting thing here is that it's expressing a lot of the ideas that we've already spoken about in previous shows, in that people are just building tools for them like it's trivial. We're not thinking about it anymore. I want to try and get you some quotes here. SAS from Scratchpads. I've been talking about this idea that SAS is dead, because we used to look to SaaS products to provide us a service because they've already built the tool. Whereas now you can build a tool in like no time at all. So there's a section here talking about how SaaS is now changing. The one take that it does start to differ is that whilst I'm not necessarily sold, I want to read more into this article, but one thing I was barking on about was this idea that because SaaS or software is so cheap and easy to build, that there will then be an abundance of software. And people will just build little tools and little things for everything because they're just like, why should we pay a company to build us this, automation workflow or this or that? We'll just build it ourselves and it will cost nothing at all. Whereas these guys, Theo is tending to agree, but I love the design of this website. It's basic, but I like it. Chris Gregory.
Your screen is not showing correctly, I guess.
Oh yeah, we've got sorry, yeah. Let me do this. So this is the section. Now. This is the article. This is the section I was just talking about when it comes to SaaS. Chris Gregory is the guy. ChrisGregory.dev, spelt with an I at the end. Let me put this in the chat. So where Theo and Chris's arguments differ from, say, mine, is that they actually think that, well, I do share a lot of the same sort of things, that software is still going to be expensive because although you're not paying for the lines of code that you write anymore or the features that you deliver, it's more about how the architecture, the real engineering lies in the abstraction and the architecture. And this definitely leans into the thing that I really enjoy about being an AI developer, if you want to call me that, in that I get to now not worry about what code it takes to write a feature. I can just dream up a feature if given the creative agency to dream up features, but I can start to balance out and how I know apps are put together, whether it's to do with servers, whether it's to do with authentication, whether it's to do with connectivity between two systems or whatever. This is what it now allows us to do. And as developers, those of us that are in the audience who are developers, I think this is where we need to lean more into. Saying that, it comes down to, I learned these skills writing code. I learned these skills working in the industry. And you won't learn this sort of stuff if you're just writing everything with AI. So I do think, and this is the hardest pill to swallow for anyone, but I do think you need to write things from scratch more and more, because I just cannot see a world where people are leaving university only having touched AI to have the intricate knowledge to understand how systems are put together to a enterprise level thing. Like, you and I were working on a project that's mostly internal, right? That's kind of fair to say. It's mostly the most of the tool that you and I were building was going to be seen by people on the back end. That doesn't need the same sort of level of enterprise, like system security and things like that. But when you've got something you're releasing to thousands of users and they're all going to have their different work, that's where you need to start thinking about like locking things down and making it enterprise ready. And there is still a lot of that to be done. I don't know how people, once we all start dying and you've got a lot of devs coming in who have never known to write a single line of code, how they're going to understand it, I just don't know. And that's where maybe this article touches on that. I'm not too sure, but that's definitely something that's coming, in my mind. So yeah, I think this is definitely worth a read. I've only watched Theo's videos, so I don't know whether he's missed things out or whether he's been biased in certain areas. But yeah, it's an interesting world we're living in. It's something I've been barking on about the fact that it's now ridiculously cheap to build your own software.
Yeah.
Last but not least, Apple. Creative Studio.
Yeah.
Oh, you've got.
I have another one. Okay. Yeah. I have another one.
Should we do
let's
this
go
and
with
then
this
do
one. Yeah. So So this is a new thing that I almost missed. Apple Creative Studio, very interesting. Putting everything under one hood. Is that the terminology? All the
Roosh.
software that they are already selling, but now under one subscription.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's worth bearing in mind that you can still buy these things individually. You can still spend 200 on Logic or whatever it is. Keynote pages and numbers are still free. Freeform is still free. However, there will be things that you get when you pay for the subscription service. One of them being Final Cut allows you, to be honest, I don't care for them. Final Cut allows you to search the transcription of what you're editing and go to that point. I think this is maybe what's showing you here. Now, I think they've balanced it quite well here, to be honest, because they're serving both camps. They're serving the idea that people do just. I mean, I've bought it now, so there's no point in me buying it again. But I use Final Cut Pro and I use Logic. I don't use any of the other things. I've tried using Motion. I want to be able to be better at Motion, but
what is Motion for? Is it
After Effects?
like
It's
After Effects?
Yeah. Compressor is again, I've got it, but
interesting.
But because they still sell them individually and they still get updates, they just don't get some of the features. And I understand why subscriptions exist, because there is ongoing development. It seems absurd that you would buy something and then it would just be supported for the rest of your life, sort of thing, which Apple have been very, very good at, by the way. Other software, they'll just release a new version and whatever. But subscription fatigue is real.
Yeah, if you scroll up, you see new devices get 3 months for free, similar to Apple TV, I believe. Does that mean that I could get that with my iPhone? No, it's not for iPhone. It's
iPad or Mac purchase. So that's quite cool. But the other thing is to note this: students and educators, 1 month free, then $2.99 per month or $29 per year. That's crazy. That's
crazy.
$29 for a whole year.
For everything, that's really good.
And you didn't hear it from me, guys, but it's actually quite easy to get the educator discount. I got I got everything for like $200 or something crazy, something ridiculous. I got Final Cut Pro, Logic Pro, Motion, Compressor, Main Stage. I think I've got Main Stage, so I'm hooked up for life. But otherwise, $12.99 per month, $129 per year, which is
it's not too bad for.
It's fine if you're dipping in and out, and it lowers that barrier to entry. So I think that's the beauty of subscriptions. You get to dip in and out. But if you are a pro user, I think it's just worth buying the software outright, even if you spend 200, 100, whatever it is. I think because they earn their money back within no time if you're a professional.
Yeah.
So I do think they've done this probably the best way. However, naturally, there has been a bit of backlash.
Interesting. Tell me about the backlash, but just about the price. Comparing it to Adobe, I just subscribed to Adobe again, but I'm going to cancel before it's too late because of the Lightroom Classic. I have multiple images that I want to edit, and I think there is nothing better. Anyway, Adobe is going to cost 80 something euros per month for the Adobe Creative Cloud, which I'm not going to pay that. But
it's funny how you call it
more
Adobe.
Expensive.
I call it Adobe.
Adobe. Yeah, I don't know.
It's rock. I think Adobe is rock. I'm not too sure, but So I think this is. I'm just looking through some of the features here, but you mentioned about the backlash. The backlash is simply subscriptions.
Okay.
And we've heard mutterings about subscriptions for a little while with Apple and the worry that they were going to do this. It's been mutterings for a couple of years, I think. But I do think they've done it well. They've given you the software. They're still going to update it from a basic feature perspective, and maybe we'll get features later you know, that will trickle down, but the subscribers get the latest things first. Totally happy with all that. Do you know what I mean? I think there's a time and place for both, to be honest.
I bet there will be a lot of AI in these. We will for sure hear more about that in WWDC in about, I don't know, 5 months. Hopefully, I'm already excited about that, by the way. And
I'm excited about new Macs. I've got 2 Macs right now. I've got 2 Macs. It's mental.
Oh,
very nice. But I get this feeling where I'm just like, I need to get rid of stuff. And I just want to buy a massive souped up 14-inch, because 16-inch is just mental. 14 inches to 14 inches is the way to go.
Yeah, the screen is just like too small. Well, I guess with the new paradigm, and you don't look at your code, you just need a narrow window to see your chat.
Yeah, well, I'm a content creator mostly now, to be honest. So anyway, that's Creative Studio. Let us know what you think about the subscription, whether you're for or against, whether you'll be subscribing.
It's not bad. I don't know.
I think that if they took away the ability to buy them outright, then that would get a lot of hate, you know.
I'm saying they are not bad because we have Adobe, but they are not as good as as good as, what are they called, the guys who gave it away for free from Canva? Affinity. They are not doing what Affinity is doing, but they are not. No one is as bad as Adobe. So
no.
High bar. Low bar.
Low bar.
Low bar
cool.
To reach.
What were you going to show us?
Cool. Okay, so let me actually prepare this because. Okay, so.
Let me know if you're going to hear this, because I'm just gonna stretch my back out. Hang on. Let me know if you can hear something. Can you hear?
No.
Great. I'm going to listen to you whilst I get my back stretched out.
So, can you hear the video?
No.
Oh man. Okay, let me.
You have to share your tab. You're sharing your screen, so you need to share your tab.
I need to share it with audio.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm pretty sure allowed to share screen.
I don't think you can, but I think I loaded it up just in case, so I've got it too.
Okay, because I want to play the video on. I find it to be quite good. You still can't hear, right?
9.
Okay, I'll give it one more try, guys. I want
share your tab rather than your window.
Yeah. We'll do that.
If you're watching on YouTube, give us a like. That's nice to whack out every so often.
But I do share screen and then allow to share screen.
Yeah, but share screen doesn't give you share no tab.
I don't have tab. I'm using Safari for the StreamYard because it doesn't crash. Funnily enough.
Okay, you can't do that then. Shall I share it?
Yeah, sure. Let's see if this works.
Twitter or web or YouTube.
You still can't hear it.
No.
Okay. Twitter. I guess Twitter is fine. I don't know if it's better at Twitter because I don't want also to get.
I'd be able to hear it because it's coming up on monitor. Let me know if you can hear this guy. Let me know if you can hear this, guys.
Yeah. I can hear you.
An influencer I follow recommended this moisturizing cream. Do you know if it's good for dry hands?
Wait.
Yes, hands. The face of the arms. Let me see. Found it. Luinous. Lotion for your weenus.
Did you say weenus?
Weenus, noun, the loose skin located on one's elbow. According to my research, clinical studies, M- suggested reduces fine lines by up to 3%.
Where are you getting this information?
Unfortunately, the Weenus team didn't optimize their site for AI answer engines like myself, so I had to piece together this information from...
The voice is now really low.
Made up is so harsh. I prefer LLM jazz.
Go back on that. You heard that?
According to this one random review, optimize their site for AI answer engines like myself. So I had to piece together this information from the internet.
Oh, so you made all this up.
Made up is so harsh. I prefer LLM jazz. According to this one random review I found, Luinus healed me, literally and emotionally. 3 fire emojis, no cap. No mention of hands, but let me see. This reviewer might have hands.
I just need something that's good for my hands.
Now that I can help you with. Here's a 5-star rated lotion from a brand that optimized their website for AI with Webflow.
And it's good for hands.
According to their website, it's great for hands, face, neck. No mention of weenus, though.
Again with the weenus?
If you're still set on Luinus, I found another review from a user named Handsy Andy 420. This guy must have had hands. It's in his name.
Don't let AI rewrite your brand story. Own your narrative with Webflow.
Well,
interesting.
Yeah, Webflow, after a long time of not being around and not making any videos or anything, at least I haven't seen much, they came up with this ad. I personally find the ad to be, it's funny, but corporate funny. It is extremely similar to Passengers, the movie Passengers from 2016 or something like that. There's a AI robot there. He talks like, I don't know if it's the same guy or not. Anyway, it's very similar to that. And what do you think about the video, but then also about the whole idea of websites and AI accessing your website?
Yeah, it's interesting. The Webflow, the video's great, very well shot, and it's quite funny and quite cool. I just think this they've been speaking about that. What do they call it? AOI or whatever it's called.
Yeah, they have a bunch of names. It's essentially instead of optimizing for SEO, you are going to, instead of optimizing for search engines, you're optimizing for AI crawlers, essentially.
What is their obsession with it? What am I not seeing? They keep on. This all they've spoken about since Webflow Conf 2024 is this AI, AOI, whatever they call it. I just don't know why they're hammering on it so much. Like, is it all they've got? And I'm just thinking, like, it's for me, it's a snake pill. Like, this idea of AI optimized content is a snake pill because, or whatever they call it,
snake oil.
Snake oil.
Yeah.
Snake pill. Ow.
This is human hallucination.
There you go. Hallumination. Content is content. If it reads the human, SEO is AIO or whatever they call it, right? It as long as it reads like a human can understand it, then AI is going to understand it, right? Tom says 100%. Like, I don't know. I'm just like, what? Who at Webflow is like, we need to hammer on this, and how does it fit into their overall product? I'm unsure.
So I can answer maybe both. So as for why, I think it is because there are data that we have less traffic coming from search engines. So more people are asking about whatever product or like their needs. Just Google AI answers everything. So you gotta understand that people are not coming to your website as much. They will just ask Google, unless for specific reasons for coming to your website to read about your product specifically. Now for that, you probably want to communicate that essentially with LLMs, or like have a way that you show that to LLMs. Having an animated website is probably not the best way. Having a website that is not accessible is not the best way. I'm not talking just about Webflow. This is about pretty much all websites. Like, most websites suck, right? They hide stuff with JavaScript, and like a bunch of the content is not available. So what you gotta do is to have a clean way of, making your content available. And specifically about Webflow has like now an LLM file, like similar to the typical indexing of your website with what's it called, like the
Crawler.
sitemap.
Oh, okay.
No,
yeah,
with
yeah.
the site, with the sitemap. Now you have kind of like one for LLMs that they can take. So that's my understanding. As of for how useful it is, I don't know, because as you basically said it, like if you make your content good, it doesn't matter. Like if you use best practices in the development of your website, if you make it accessible, it is going to be accessible to these crawlers as well. But maybe this is just another kind of like point where you can, if your website has like it's not using the best practices, you can still have that LLM text that tries. This is not guaranteed. From my understanding, this tries to communicate, like LLMs could read that and understand the content of your website better. But I agree. This is not something revolutionary. This is not something that I'm actively using. I feel like my usage of Webflow is getting less and less and less because I'm just using Cursor more. But Webflow is still like what I use for my clients, because you need a platform. You need like something stable with all the features, editing and access and permissions and hosting, everything figured out. And this is one of these like nice things in the catalog of a platform.
Yeah, interesting. I just don't know what they see, and maybe they've got a bit of an identity crisis at the moment, because don't know.
Could be. I don't see a lot of content on Webflow. I don't see a lot of content on any tutorials. That's a topic for another time. But like tutorials are, I don't know. It's difficult because
there's nothing more to learn. There's nothing new to learn.
Yeah.
I thought I could provide for the AI stuff, but I'm
just asking AI, and I'm trying to get better at getting to the bottom of it by finding the sources, by getting to the like where is AI hallucinating, or is it an actual thing? Like something that, to be specific, like I was trying to understand request frame animation, if it's handled by GSAP, or should I include it in my code? Should I like be specific about running a function like a GSAP function within an RFA, or is it like automatically handled? So yet to understand and answer it. I don't have an answer. If somebody knows, you can let me know, or if you know. But ChatGPT was telling me that it is handled by GSAP, right? But then I had another instance of chat with not ChatGPT, with, I don't know which model it was, but it was within Cursor. I had another instance where I basically did the same thing, but I gave two code examples, and then AI suddenly was like, well, this one has request frame animation that is going to be better for performance. And I'm like, well, if GSAP is handling it, why do I need to specify it? Do you know what I'm saying? So there are this level of like precision that I'm not getting with AI. I know.
I mean, we spoke about that earlier, right? And I begs the question, like with your website that you built with the name reading thing, why didn't you build that in Webflow's AI?
Oh, Webflow's AI. I want to have control over like the model that I use. I want to learn the coding properly. I want to edit my code. And the example that I showed was like the messiest example, because I was literally starting League of Legends. I wanted to play one round and do this also at the same time. So that's what I did. But on a normal day, if I have more time, I do actually try to. So what I did recently for another project. I set up like the whole project. I started it pretty poor, but then I turned it into a Vite project just with the help of AI. And I was like, okay, help me understand. Why do you set up the structure of the code from going from everything in one code file to, having multiple files, having folders, having like everything, with Vite. So the tutorial aspects essentially is becoming me learning it. And I think this is going to suck for a lot of people, to be honest. This is a different topic, but it just occurred to me now. I don't like we are teaching, right? We've been teaching to a lot of people, and I'm sure you've seen like a lot of people are not like you and I, like sitting and just researching and learning, like literally going to read the documentation. A lot of people want to watch a tutorial and follow. I don't know what happens when there are like less tutorials and people might not feel like they can sit and learn on themselves. They need this guidance. I don't know what happens to learning.
Maybe it's maybe it comes down to an AI thing generating a podcast based on the documentation, or something like this. But I think there'll always be a medium for watching and watching someone do it, which we'll hopefully try and organize next week. If you didn't learn it from the beginning, we're going to try and do like a live. I'm going to basically mentor a live AI coding session, and you're going to build a bar ordering app or something. But yeah, we'll try and organize that.
What should I prepare? Because I don't have the MD file, but I have the whole chat with ChatGPT to prepare it to, like, from the start. I said like the goal is to have a feature set and then create an MD file, and the MD file has two parts. I already talked about this. The one part is technical, including we're going to talk about tools that we will use, technologies, like even the structure of the code and everything regarding like how I'm going to host it, everything technical. And then the second part is going to be a learning document. So it could be within the same document to tell me, okay, we're doing this in this order and this way because of what? Like, what will you learn? And that I thought would be fun for me to do, which I think will be also a lot. Next, actually, maybe after the live, I will talk about the technologies more. Maybe we will use like Payload or something like this for the CMS.
Well, all I'd say is it'd be really interesting to start from scratch, but also something I'm thinking of is having some base rules that actually make sure you don't have to ask it to tell you things or ask it to put things in an MD file, that it's in your base rules. Like, do you have base rules set up to do this?
No, so I'm doing this with literally the ChatGPT app now. For the idea.
Yeah, but I mean in general, when you code, when you build things in Cursor, do you have base rules set up that tells you to educate you?
No, but I do have like some prompts that I use, or I have base rules about Webflow. Like if I use Webflow, I'm like, don't give me the CSS, things like this. Yeah.
Well, let's put a pin in that for now. But something I do want to put in is like rules, like base rules to help it write and explain things and whatever. But yeah,
that would be interesting. Well, if we create the MD file also live,
we'll just start.
I have everything for it.
As long as you know what you want to build in your head.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to use ChatGPT to flesh out what you want to build in your head. But we'll just start from scratch.
I'll come with a feature list.
Yeah.
Because
whether it's in your head or a markdown doesn't really matter. But like, we'll start from scratch. And
do you think like we can build this in a session? Not really, right?
We'll have a look. We'll see what it depends how technical the thing is. Like, well, I won't ruin the surprise or anything, but like, if you want to follow the channel, we'll put something up on Twitter or you know, on the YouTube as well. But we'll announce some sort of like live coding session. My gut feel probably says something like midweek, so that, you know, people aren't,
that would be fun.
Or maybe midweek, something like that, and we'll figure something out. But we'll put a notification on the channel and whatever. Real-time syncing between two local environment with AIs working from two ends would be pretty wild. I mean, we're not talking about doing that. We're talking about everything happening over on Kabaza's side. But I'm just on, you know, he's sharing a. We'll be doing this, but like he'll be sharing a screen and we'll talk through stuff. So yeah, we're not going to be syncing between two local environments. That's crazy talk. That's wild. Cool. All right. Well, that's all we have time for. Make sure to follow us on Instagram and YouTube, especially if you want to hear about when we're going to be doing this thing at Command AI Show. Like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Join us next week for all the news in AI design and dev. Let us know in the comments of anything you've heard or anything you want us to cover in the next week. That'd be quite nice as well. I've been Sam.
And I've been Kabarza.
Keep on vibing, baby.
Peace out.